Hi, this is Dirt Farmer Maggie, and the holidays are almost upon us, which is a wonderful time of the year in the Cooper household. We've got our grandkids coming over, and it's just going to be a really fun time. And one of the things that I like to do on Christmas is make scones for Christmas morning. These are cranberry orange scones, and the recipe is super easy, and it only takes 15 minutes to bake. So stay tuned and let me show you how we do it. When we were raising our 5 kids, Christmas was a big holiday for us, and we really emphasized a lot of traditions. We had an advent calendar every year, and every day each kid got a chance to open one of the days and see what was behind it. We did red and green pancakes. We made special things every year that were traditions for Christmas, and scones was one of them. So I want to share my recipe with you today. It's pretty simple to make, takes only 15 minutes to bake, and so let's get started. The first thing, I have already measured out my dry ingredients, which is 1 3/4 cup flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspices, so it's what the black stuff is. So we're going to put that in the bowl, and then we're going to put together our wet ingredients, which will be 1/3 cup of half and half. You can use milk too if you want to, but I like to use half and half. It makes it a little bit richer. We're going to do a tablespoon of just regular old orange juice into the wet ingredients. A large egg. Of course, these are the eggs from our own chickens, so they're really dark, rich yolk. And then we're going to do a peel from an orange, so the zest of an orange. I have this really cool zester, and if you don't have one and you make stuff like this a lot, I would really recommend you get one. But I wanted to just show you, you just want to barely take off the skin. You don't want to get into the part underneath because that's bitter. So just barely take off the skin, and we're going to do this whole orange. All right, so I've got the zest of the orange here. I'm going to add that into our wet ingredients. Boy, it smells good. I always say I wish there could be smells on YouTube. That would be the clincher for this recipe. So we're just going to mix this up and have it waiting for when we get ready. All right, the other ingredient that we're going to be using is butter. Unsalted butter, which is why you add salt into the flour, because you want to be able to control the amount of salt you have. So I cut this into pieces yesterday and put it in the freezer because the colder the butter is, the easier it is to get the right texture that you need for this. So if I can get them all out of the bag. And then I have a pastry blender here. If you don't have one of these, you could use a fork, or you could actually use 2 knives to cut it, but this works really well. So we're just going to mash that butter down and start cutting it into little teeny tiny pieces. It always helps if you start out with it cut into smaller pieces anyway. But we're going to just get that all combined until it looks about like cornmeal. So I got a little ways to go here. I still got some chunks in there. You see, you want to clean it off of your pastry blender because it'll get stuck in there. Okay, we've got this to a nice consistency now. So all we're going to do is add in our wet ingredients. And then we're just going to stir it up. It's kind of a stiff dough. All right, so this is really coming together here now. Let's kind of clean the sides of the bowl, which is always a good sign. And the last thing you want to do is mix in your cranberries. And get them all mixed in really well. Spread out as evenly as possible. There we have it. All right. So you want to put these on a well-floured surface because the dough is pretty wet. Make sure your hands have some flour on so that it doesn't stick to your hands. Now we're just going to make it into a little ball, knead it for just a minute to get it together really well. Flour on both sides. And then I'll get my rolling pin. We're going to roll it to about a 1/2 inch thick. So if you don't know what 1/2 inch is, you can You're going to want to get some coarse sugar. It looks kind of like crystals. And you're just going to sprinkle on top of the scones. It adds a little extra crunchiness to the top of the scones and a little extra sugar. Extra sugar is always good, right? Especially at Christmas time. And now we're going to put them in a 425 oven for 15 minutes. So while your scones are baking, I'm going to make the glaze that's going to go on top of them. So you're just going to put some powdered sugar in a bowl. I don't know how much that'll be plenty. And then just go ahead and use your orange juice to make this nice little orange glaze. Start out with just a tiny bit at first because you don't want to have to keep adding sugar to make it thicker if it's too thin. You want it to be kind of runny but not watery. So this looks like this is going to turn out pretty well. I'm going to add just a little tiny splash also of orange extract just to bump up the flavor a little bit. Just regular orange extract, you have lemon extract, vanilla extract. They also have orange extract. Dash in there. And then when our scones come out in a few minutes, we will brush them with this glaze. These turned out really nice. You can see that they're just brown enough. They're not really sticking to the pan very much, and they're going to be really nicely done. And I'm just going to go ahead and brush them with a little bit of this glaze. It's very orangey and sugary. So we all need more sugar at Christmas time. All right. Now I've got a little Christmas plate. I'm going to put these on. The nice thing is you end up with different sizes. So if giving it to a small child, you can give them a small one. And giving it to an adult, you can give them one of the bigger ones. When they're hot right out of the oven like this, they are yummy. Merry Christmas and enjoy your scones.